Good morning, everyone. Today is another episode of Arks Trash. For those who are new here, Arks Trash is a podcast and thus is audio only. So feel free to minimize it and just have the video playing in the background or something. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, I upload PSO2 content daily. So if you do play this game, I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 14th episode of Arks Trash. Today with me, I have BlacToBasics. Blac, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I am BlacToBasics. I do videos over on YouTube for PSO2. They are generally to the point, and I try to be as unopinionated as I can and put it in as many facts as I can, but also try to save you as much time as I can as well at the same time.
Perfect. Pretty much that sums it up. If you guys are looking for any PSO2 content or like guides and stuff, Blac's got you covered. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're going to be talking about New Genesis. It's coming out literally in June of this year. That's in 2 months. What are your thoughts about this? Did you expect it to come out in 2 months?
No, it's crazy. Like, I thought maybe our CBT would be in June, but we're getting it now in June, which is crazy. Like, I was telling everyone I was expecting July, August at the earliest. But I'm just so excited that we're getting it now in June.
I know, right? Did you sign up for the CBT, the global one?
Oh yeah, I think I might have been one of the first people to sign up actually, because I don't know if you noticed this, but it was actually up on the Insider Hub like 2 minutes early. So I got in and I hit join, but then it instantly crashed as soon as I hit join. So I had to wait like 2 hours to actually see when it was back up to see if I even like managed to get in or not, which I did. But it was like really stress-inducing 2 hours.
It's funny. So you are the third person that I know that experienced that. So Dudley was the first person, right? Because he did on stream. He logged in two minutes before, clicked join, and he was like, oh, I'm done. Second person was myself. I did the same thing. And then you're the third person now that I know that has done that. And like, for me, once I clicked join, I was like, I'm done. I'm going to bed. I just went to bed because it opened up at like 1 in the morning for me, right? So just like, whatever, I don't care. And then I woke up the next morning and I was like, oh, look, I'm in. Cool. So it didn't matter. But I watched like a bunch of VODs, like Animana stream and like KOEG's and Chrono. And you could just see them like all in voice chat, frantically refreshing the thing, trying to get in. Oh, it was funny to watch. But like, I felt like it was such a bonding experience for them because like everyone in their live stream as well, like everyone in the chat was also like, oh my God, I can't get in. And then the moment one person got in, like they were like, I'm in. And then everyone started getting in. Oh, that was funny. It was so funny to see that.
Yeah, it was great. I was watching them live as well, because when I was refreshing, I was seeing what everyone else was up to. And they just, it was like just constant like 2 hours of them refreshing it. And I'm like, how long are they going to do this for? And then I was just sitting in my Discord of my alliance, and we were all just complaining for 2 hours. And then eventually, after a while, one by one, everyone started getting in, and we just were like streaming to each other, like, well, what are you doing different than me? And just let it, just wait, you'll get in eventually. And so for like a half of an hour, at least the first hour, I kept on trying, but then after that, I just gave up for like a half hour. So I'm like, nothing's going to change. And then another half hour after that, everyone started getting in. So I'm like, okay, and I kept trying to I pinned it on my desktop so I could get to it really quickly, and eventually it all worked out.
Now that we've got access to the CBT, or we got into the CBT, what is your game plan? Is there a specific class that you're going to want to try out or something, or what are you going to be doing?
Yeah, I mostly played Ranger last time, so I really want to play like more Knuckles fighter this time. I just want to try like everything I really didn't get a chance to, and now that I have a much better layout of like where everything is and where I need to mine stuff, where to gather, and just how everything kind of works, I'm pretty much just going to, I just have a much better idea of what I want to do in general. I don't know if I have an exact plan, but I know the layout of the land exactly, kind of. So that's pretty much it for that, actually. I don't really have much of a game plan.
That's all good. Actually, when we got access to the Japanese closed beta, you were able to play the game then as well. So, we never really talked much on what you did then. So were you able to get to max level, to level 15 back then, or not?
Yeah, I got to 15 on like the last day. I really wasn't grinding hard. I just kept trying different classes, but like not enough to really get an idea of any one of them that much besides Ranger and maybe a little bit of Force.
Since you played Ranger, or I guess you mained Ranger during the CBT, Was there any gripes that you had? Like anything that you didn't like about the Ranger?
I don't know if there's anything I really didn't like. Maybe just like I wish it had more PAs. Like, I just felt like I was kind of like pigeonholed into like only using a few PAs for certain situations. And I get that like you're supposed to mix and match weapons, and there's going to be a lot more weapons eventually. But if I just really like the rifle, I want to have more options for the rifle.
The reason I say that is when I first started the JPCBT on like day one, so day one was a huge mess for me because I had a bunch of technical issues, internet issues, blah blah blah. But when I finally did get into the game and was able to play, I played as a Ranger first. That was what I selected as my main class. And something that I could never nail down properly was the distance. You know how there's that dynamic distance thing where it's like if you get too close or too far, you're not dealing optimal damage. You have to be at that sweet spot. I could never wrap my head around that. I would always be either too close or too far. Were you able to nail that mechanic down like immediately? Was that natural for you?
Oh, I didn't even manage to do that near the end. I was just playing at all different distances, just trying to mess around. I did find the sweet spot like in the last day, but I'd never really cared to try to stay in that zone. But correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I understand, like wasn't that only really affected by your normal attacks or for your normal attacks, or was it for everything?
I don't actually know. All I knew was when my damage numbers, like you would see the numbers go from white to blue, and that's when I knew I was in the right spot. But other than that, everything was a crapshoot. I didn't know what I was doing.
I really tried again at the last day, but up until then, like I wasn't really even paying attention. And since I subbed Hunter, for the most part, I was swapping to Sword a lot too. So I was kind of always like in a close distance, close to medium distance. So I was never too far away, but I was maybe a little too close.
Gotcha. I sent feedback to Sega regarding this because I felt like if we could play the Ranger, like let's say that we were Ranger main class and we had a rifle equipped, that we would have like a transparent ring around us that would let us know if we're within the ideal distance or like too close or too far. That way we have an indicator of some sort to just see, oh yes, we're standing too far from the mob right now. Oh, we're too close from the mob, blah, blah, blah. So that way you know, right? That was one of the pieces of feedback that I gave, because honestly, without any indication and only looking off the damage numbers, like maybe, you can get used to it after playing for a couple, a week or two. But the whole trend that they're going, or the direction that they're going, where they're making things simple in New Genesis compared to complex in PSO2, I feel like that should be something that they might want to think about so that we can, just streamline the experience.
Yeah, that would actually be perfect. I was thinking of something actually like that. I'm surprised I didn't mention that actually when you just asked me about my gripes. But yeah, I was actually thinking about something almost exactly like that, because there's a ring right now in regular PSO2 that tells you when you're in stationary fire. Then it puts a little ring below you and to let you know when you've been still for a second, to let you know that you're getting the buff. And if we had something similar to that, or maybe some icon that pops up, or like maybe a little meter somewhere that shows how far close you are away, that would be amazing. And I don't think that'll be too intrusive either.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like that would be really, really good. So you said that you want to play fighter. So what about the fighter is like, drawing you in? Why fighter specifically?
I've never been too big on the knuckles in base PSO2, but I've always wanted to give them a shot. But they just weren't really my thing. But in NGS, the PAs look so damn cool. And they have like 2 or 3 different counters. And I think that's really awesome to have different options. And I definitely want a melee-ish class, but I wasn't too big on the Hunter sword. Just didn't jive with me quite yet. Maybe until we get more PAs, if we ever do. But I think the next kind of melee class I just want would be fists. And because they had some nice AoE, it had a lot of gap closers. Again, it had the counters, with the sway, weapon action. And I think it just had like everything that I kind of want from a melee-ish class, while still being so close, it didn't feel like you were too close, if that makes any sense.
But what about your subclass? What are you planning to roll on subclass?
I tried a 4 subclass last time, and it felt underwhelming a little bit. But I wanted to mix and match everything possible just to see how weird I could make a combination. This time around, I definitely might want to stick with like a ranger subclass, just because I like having a mixing range and close range together. So I might, again, stick with maybe a techer this time around as a subclass, so I can cast techs and still stick in melee range if I want to with the wand.
There's just something to keep note of about the techer is that you can't cast Shifta or D-band unless it's the main class. That was something
Yeah.
that I learned the hard way, and I was just like, wait a second, why can't I buff myself? And I was like, oh, main class only. But that kind of sucked.
So I might actually end up doing like a tech or main fighter sub or something like that then.
Oh, true. Yeah, I
Because it
never
really
thought
doesn't
about
matter
that.
exactly what you have as a main or sub. Well, it kind of does, like you just said, but to a degree, for damage wise, it doesn't really matter if I put fighter as a sub in that case, right?
Were you able to try out the multi-weapon system?
No, actually, I did not get a chance at all because it was expensive. And I ended
Yeah.
up spending all my money on different weapons and everything.
What did you spend most of your time doing in NGS?
I did a lot of just like testing of like to see what I could do for like block frames, if there were any block frames or iframes. I was just messing around, really exploring like almost every inch I really could to just get an idea of where everything was. So the next time I get in, I could just get and go.
Mm-hmm.
And I also just took a lot of screenshots.
Fair
And I also
enough.
spent I must have spent, I don't know how long the entire test was, but I at least probably spent 4 to 5 hours in the salon.
Oh my
Like I just kept going
goodness.
back to the salon every like 20 minutes.
Actually, I wanted to ask you because I've been asking every content creator about their opinion on this. So there was the like the combat zone, which is like the 8-player zone where we learned how to do PSC burst. And then there was the exploration zone where it was a 32-man, like that swamp area with the gigantics and stuff. Which playstyle or which zone did you prefer out of those two?
Kind of like enjoyed them all for what they each brought, but I definitely liked the 32-man version because that's something I've always wanted. Like I've always told my friends who played PSO2 on JP with me, like I want an open world version where I can be with more than 12 people. I want like 20 people or 30 people, and lo and behold, we can now have a zone with 30 people. And I like swamps for some reason in games, so it's kind of weird. But it was actually really nice to be able to just be in a zone, yeah, with that many people. We weren't all always attacking the same thing, but we were in close proximity, and I wasn't even lagging at all either, which was pretty cool. But I just like seeing that many people run around, and yeah.
For sure. You said that you weren't lagging, like no performance dips. What exactly are your computer specs?
I have a Ryzen 9 3900X for CPU. I then have a 2070 Super for my graphics card and 32 gigabytes of RAM.
And you were playing on everything maxed out 1080p?
I was 1080p, but I was mostly on like I think the max setting was 6, and I think I was mostly on 5s because I usually never max anything out, especially with like newer games, just because I always want a little bit better performance. But I then cranked it up to 6 near the end, and I didn't see much of a difference either in graphics or hit to performance. So I might just go right to 6 next time.
Okay. Did you turn off motion blur, or did you play with that?
I turned it off. It was really bothering me.
That was the first thing I turned off because I got sick. Like I can't handle
Yeah.
motion blur. It makes me so sick when I watch it. I'm just like, oh god.
Yeah, in some games I can deal with it and I like it. So I kept it on for like the first hour, and then when I really started getting around and fighting, I'm like, I can't deal with this.
Yeah, it was definitely. But that's actually really cool that you didn't experience any lag in the 32-man area because Koichi and Chrono, when they were doing the 32-man area, when everyone was like dogpiling one of the emergency quests or the trials, they had really their FPS would dip from like 120 down to like 40 or 50, and then would go back up again. But like in my case, my PC specs are pretty low end, right? And I was playing on 1080p, everything on 4, and it was fine throughout the entire part. Like in the 32-man area, 8-man area, urgent quest, everything was fine except for this like one specific moment when there was just so much stuff going on your screen. Like a good example would be in the urgent quest. When the boss goes into like his enrage mode and he fires those lasers? Since
Yeah.
I was playing Hunter, I was like right up there, right? And since I'm so close, those lasers, when they all come out at the same time, my FPS would tank. I would drop from 60 FPS down to like 5. But it would only drop for like, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and then I'll be back to 60 again. And it was the same in the open field, where especially when the Bujin was out, the one-armed ninja dude, when he
Yeah.
did his like dashes, like those red clouds that he creates, the after images, like that lagged the crap out of my computer when I was like really close up to it.
I don't know if it was because I was a ranger and I was farther away, but I mean, I had small little spikes here and there, but I don't really want to count that because I get that in like every game, right? You know, when there's a lot of people around. But for the most part, I think again because I was ranger and I was further away, it wasn't that much of a problem. But definitely for some of those urgent quests and the big, I think Gigantics or whatever, yeah, when you first spawned, when the urgent quest first started, like I like froze for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, but
and I thought I crashed a few times.
Oh, really? Wow, it froze that long,
But
I guess.
yeah, but it was fine eventually.
Nice, nice. Like that's definitely something that I also gave as feedback was just like, hey, you know, optimization could be better. But did you notice, I think it was the second day, we had 2 emergency maintenances. So after the last emergency maintenance, did you notice that the game just performed better? Like especially like during really chaotic moments, or was it the same to you basically?
I feel like it was mostly the same. I mean, I think the whole experience in general was just better and better every time they did do the maintenance. It was the whole game was like smoother from zone to zone because I would actually lag a little bit from going from zone to zone, but after the maintenance that was fine. But general gameplay in those areas didn't really seem to change much for me.
What did you like out of the CBT? Like, what was your favorite moments or parts of the game?
Probably just being able to meet up with so many different people and just do whatever the heck we wanted to do whenever we wanted to do it. Like we could also be on like different blocks and still be in the same party together. Actually, like, there wasn't like anything I didn't like about it. I mean, everything was just streamlined. Everything was kind of how we'd always want it. So there's probably even stuff I didn't get to test that I probably like more than I even got to test. If that makes any sense.
Okay, I don't know. There were certain things that I had issues with because you know we were playing on the JP server, so there was the language barrier. So you know I didn't understand like anything. But the thing that really annoyed me was the quests. When you got a quest and it told you to go to like this zone, right? You had to follow their stupid waypoint check marker thing to like get out of Central City, go around the city and go to whatever zone. You couldn't just like, oh, teleport to the zone and just do it there. Because if you teleported to the zone, the entire waymark or the auto pathing thing would just totally break. And
I forgot all about that. Yeah, that was the thing. I forgot all about that. Like I went to the wrong area a few times because of that too.
Yeah, like that annoyed the crap out of me. I remade a character because I broke that. So like what happened was I talked to an NPC, they gave me a quest. I was like, okay, cool. I teleported there and I went around killing all these mobs. And then I did that for like 20 minutes and then it wasn't filling up the quest counter. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? So I went back to town to talk to the NPC again. And then the waypoint wouldn't show up anymore. It wouldn't show me where to go. And then I was sitting there going like, well, I'm screwed. So I deleted the character. I remade a character just to do that quest again. I was like, God dang it.
Oh man, that's funny because I remember I had to, I think the 8-man area. I go into that area, and as soon as I got there, it would tell me to go back out.
Yeah.
So I went back out and told me to go back in. So I went back in, and I'm like, okay, it must be here somewhere. So I spent like 10, 15 minutes walking around in circles, and then I found the one I needed to kill. And it was the mini boss, but it was the wrong, stronger mini boss. So after I killed 3 of those, or 2 or 3 of those, with a bunch of other people, it still wasn't filling up. So I then had to find like level 3 version of the mini boss.
Yeah.
Randomly, which I found.
Exactly. It was that quest. That I think we all experienced. I think
everyone had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we were just like, dang, this is annoying.
Like I tried to make heads or tails of it. I'm like, I must be doing something wrong. It must be me. I must be stupid or something. And it just like, no, it was just being weird.
Right, yeah. So, you know how you said you like the 32-man zone? Like, I don't mind the 32-man zone that much. Like, I quite enjoy the concept. But the issue that I have with it is, you know, we spent a lot of time grinding there to level up because that was like the highest level area. But the issue that I had was everything was dying so fast because everyone was just dogpiling, right? You basically roamed as like a 32-man group and just dogpiled everything. But like if you're a newcomer and you just entered that MPA, then you're just like, wait a second, where is everyone? And then you see like, oh, emergency trial over here. And by the time you get there, everything's dead already. And you have to like find the main group and follow them as well. And I don't know. I didn't feel like I was really contributing anything to the group because it was just like, oh, look, I can just stand here and everything dies. That was kind of what I was thinking. Meanwhile, in like the PSE area where there was only 8 people, it felt like, what I contributed was very valuable. What I did was very helpful to the party because there was only 8 of us. And when there was a PSE burst, there were so many enemies. It was nuts, and I love that.
Oh, I definitely like that area, and I actually agree with you 110% on all of that because like I love the idea behind it, the 32-man zone. I like the area itself, but one of my feedbacks was like you need to make the mob stronger and put more mobs in that area, or something like that. Because like it'd really just be a wave of people. Like you'd walk in, like you said, you wouldn't see anyone, and you'd see a wave of people just come across your screen, clearing everything out. And
Yeah.
it was mostly the ranged players taking everything out, and the melee were like trying to get out ahead. I was even watching, I think it was Chrono, and he was playing fighter at one point. And he was trying to get ahead of the pack to get to the mobs first, because everyone else would have killed it before he even got to it. It was pretty funny.
So actually, speaking about Chrono, he actually told me in a previous podcast that what he would like to see changed was the HP scales to the number of players in the MPA. So I don't know if you play Final Fantasy 14.
Yep.
So there's something called Fates, I believe, in Final Fantasy 14. So he said, like, when that was first introduced, it was a huge mess because people just like blow them up instantly. But now they scale to like the number of players, or they scale somehow. So I think like in NGS, especially in that exploration field, that they could definitely do something like that, have it scale to the number of players. Because the thing is, I don't want them to not scale it. Because then if you go in and you only have like 4 or 5 people, because there's definitely been times where I go in and there's only like 4 or 5 people in the swamp area. And then like, there's all these mobs scattered around and you're chasing them down and it takes forever to kill them, especially the Bujin. The Bujin takes forever to kill if you're just alone or if you just have like 2 or 3 people. And so they definitely need some scaling is what I think.
Yeah, that would actually be perfect, actually. The only problem I think I'd have with that, or no, not me personally, the only problem they would have incorporating that would be the zones are pretty big. So, whereas like the Fates in Final Fantasy 14 were relatively small areas. So like, I think for them to be able to code that or have all the mobs HPs scale as soon as someone walks in might be hard to do over a wide area, but that would be a perfect solution to it, really. Because I feel the same. Like times I did go in and it was just me and like maybe 5 other people or maybe 10.
Were you able to do a lot of party play in New Genesis or not?
Yeah, I actually I got to party up a lot. I think a few times I actually was just like thrown into a party randomly too.
In the emergency quest or the urgent quest, they definitely just threw me into a party because I think they had like an auto, like go in solo or whatever. That I found that was actually pretty interesting because if we look at urgent quests right now, like when you join an urgent quest, I think most people go in solo, right? And then you put down a beacon, and we're talking about regular PSO2 or base PSO2.
Yeah.
Like we go in solo, right? And then we drop a beacon, and then people join our party that way. I don't think a lot of people, at least from my experience, I don't think a lot of people just join the party from the counter.
99% of the time, people will just join off of the beacon because a lot of the problem is when people try to join you off of the counter, it'll usually be filled up by then and it'll kick you back to like not even talking to the NPC anymore, which kind of sucks. So
that's
it's
the
really
reason.
Annoying.
Okay. So like I never really knew the reason. I just did it because everyone else did it. I was just like, oh, I guess this is just how we do things. And so when I'm not playing with my alliance and I'm just doing like, an urgent quest, for example, the current one, the fire swirling inferno, whatever it's called, like I just go in solo and then I throw in a beacon like right at the spawn area and I just go off and go kill stuff, right? And that's how I've always done things because I feel like, oh, whatever, right? If people join my party, great. If people don't, then meh, whatever. But I feel like in base PSO2, there's quite the big emphasis on party play because of the rare drop rate increase, the basically tri boost increase, right?
Yeah.
But in New Genesis, actually, because I couldn't read anything, I didn't actually know what was the boost when you were in a party. Were you able to find out?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. There was an English patch, but I didn't use it because I was recording everything.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I didn't know what was going on. I had a few Japanese friends I was asking stuff about, and they were still kind of as clueless as I was about a lot of things, which was kind of funny. I got to party up with them in general, which was nice. So they got to help me out here and there. But I mean, back to what you're saying about base PSO2, I think it's probably best practice to just run in without a party for the emergency quest or urgent quest, I should say, because again, things fill up so fast. Is you're just better off to just join and then join with other people as soon as you get in that way, and that way you don't have to worry about anything really.
True, true, true. Actually, speaking about base PSO2, what are you doing now to prepare for New Genesis since, it's literally coming out in 2 months?
I'm just collecting as much fashion as I can.
Nice, nice. So, since you're collecting fashion, are you farming for, Meseta? Do you have your god units, first of all? Are you done?
I'm almost done with my units, but none of them have Guardian. But they're all going to be 350 plus damage, near 200 HP, 20 something PP on each one of them.
Okay, okay. Nice, nice. And
yeah,
your weapon?
I'm working on my 4th Klaus weapon.
Holy crap, your 4th? What? What? Why do you need so many?
Different classes.
Oh my goodness. Do you have alts? Do you have different characters, or is it just one character with all the classes?
I have a few alts for dailies and for divide quests, but it's all my main classes, or all my classes I use are on one character.
Oh wow. So you made all of these weapons and they're basically all for the main character, right?
Yeah, I want 2 different gunblades, one a Baran, and I want also a Pommel.
Mm-hmm.
So both of those are going to be range damage, but I also might change the Baran one, since it's light, to my rifle from my Phantom, so I can swap that back whenever I want with that Zig, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I also want a rod for Klaus, and then I also want the last one. I don't even know what I want to make into yet, but I just want my last one done.
Wow. Yeah, I know some players, they have multiple characters, right? And it makes sense, at least to me it makes sense, because it's oh, you want to gear those up so they can blast through Divide, so they can blast through their dailies or whatever in order to gain more resources, right? What never really clicked with me or made sense for me was having level 100 of every class on one character and having that one character play all these different classes. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, hey, let's say that you have, you main Hero, you main Phantom, and you main Luster, right? So those are 3 different classes. Wouldn't it be more beneficial to have 3 different characters with those, with those classes maxed out and gear, so that they can do divide quests, so that they can do all these other weekly things in order to generate more income or materials or resources, versus having all your gear on one character and only being able to redeem all these rewards once a week.
That would definitely be easier, yes. But I've just made each one of my alts just has one of my alts is a Luster, one of my alts is a Phantom, and I've just leveled them up slowly over time. And we've had some nice events where we've had the one we have right now, where it's 300% EXP, or more than that actually.
600% if we do bonus keys, yeah.
Right, yeah, and I kept a bunch of my rainbow keys, so I just I made use of some of these events to just boost up my alts really fast, and I just forget about them. So I like Phantom and Luster a lot, so I just make those on my alts and I just forget about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be a lot easier if you split stuff up, and I know a lot of people who do that, but I've always just liked having everything on one character. I don't have to swap stuff around as much, because even if you have weapons on different characters, you still need to move your units around depending on how many unit sets you have.
I was watching a Dudley stream a week ago, and so he's been crafting a ton of units and a ton of weapons, all Klaus units and weapons, because he's just throwing them on different characters. I think he's also like you, maybe a little bit more. I'm not exactly sure. I think he has 5 or 6 Klaus weapons, and he's also made 4 Klaus units or something. It's kind of crazy. I'm just why? So he plays a lot though, so he has the money and the resources, because he's always on Divide, always on. He does infiltration, I think, sometimes as well, like you. So what exactly do you like about infiltration?
It's first off the music. I think it's my favorite music in the entire game. It really is. I love it so much. And besides that, the quest is just so much different than everything else in the entire game too. And it kind of makes you think a little bit, and it penalizes you for not playing as well sometimes, which some people might not be into, but it gives me a little bit of an added difficulty, and it makes me get better. I used to do it with a Twal a lot, because the Twal just has a damage mitigation, so I didn't have to really worry about throwing, especially if I'm with other people. But when I tried it on Luster for the first time, I was getting my butt kicked, my rank was going down, and I was dying, which hurts your end rewards and infiltration. So it made me a lot better at Luster. And again, I just like it so much because it's different. I always like everything in PSO2 that's different. I always liked Cradle because it was in an area that you can't usually go to. I'm now sick of it, of course, because it's been out for. But I just always like going to areas and doing things that are just not stuff we usually see in PSO2.
Gotcha. All right. So for infiltration, do you do it solo or are you playing it with like your alliance or with a group?
I used to only do it solo, but just to gauge how well I could do it. But I now pretty much always do it in a group because it's just more fun in a group and it's faster, a lot faster in a group.
For sure, for sure. Actually, last we spoke, you were still like soul searching for an alliance. From what I hear now, I think you're in an alliance now. Is it your own or you found one to join?
No, I found one a few weeks ago. I actually reached out to them about over a month ago, but I was having PC issues and some other issues with PSO2 at the time, so I didn't really get to play much for like the last month or so up until the last few weeks. So then as soon as I started getting back into the game, the guild leader of that guild kept reaching out to me a lot and inviting me to things, and they were just a very small group of very dedicated people who are on at the same time every day, and they're very close, and they're all mature and about my age, so it was just everything fit together really well, and I just found my new home.
You play on ship 2 as well, right?
Yep, I'm still on 2. I would have actually swapped to ship 1 if I didn't find these guys, probably.
Oh, wow. Well, lucky us that you could still stay on ship 2 with us. I think there's only like a couple of content creators that actually play on ship 2. I think it's me, you, KOEG. I think we're the only 3 that play on ship 2. Like, it's our main
there's a bunch
ship.
more smaller content creators out there who are on ship 2 who I always forget who's on what ship, but whenever I see someone streaming and they say like ship 2, I'm like, oh, I never knew you were on ship 2, and or I never knew you were on ship 2. So there's a lot of people I want to reach out to and play with that I never even knew were on the same ship.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting because I don't know anyone. Like, people expect me to know everyone, and I'm just kind of sitting there going like, no, I don't know many people.
Yeah, I know of people, but I don't really know people.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Yeah, it's pretty horrible. As a lot of content creators may know, most of the time we're so busy making our own content and like, working on our own craft that we don't really watch other people, right? At least that's something that I do. Because when I talk to King Kazuma, for example, like, he is a very, very social guy, super nice guy, but he takes time out of his busy day to like deliberately look out and reach out to other content creators no matter what size. And you guys, well, at least Blac, that we have the Arks Council where it's like a whole bunch of content creators together. And, that is really, really time consuming. And in my point of view, like, once I'm done with my work for the day, I don't want to socialize. I don't want to do any of that. I just want to sit back and just, chill with my alliance and just play PSO2 and let them mess around, and I'm just entertained by the dialogue and I just listen in. That's most of the time what I prefer to do because I'm just drained. I'm just mentally and physically drained from all the content creation, the editing, and then, we've got our day jobs and stuff like that as well, right?
Yeah, I'm exactly the same, actually. Yeah, like, we spoke earlier about how you like to get up and then do your work when you first get up and then do whatever after. I'm the same way, and I'll just do all my indie content creation, whatever it may be, writing a script, reading a script, doing the video editing, and then after that, it'll be like 5 hours plus, depending on the day. I'll then just want to either play the game or log off and not touch it for another day.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
And if people reach out to me, sure, I'll jump on and do stuff with them. But generally, I don't really even have the time to just hang out with other people.
As silly as that sounds, or as selfish as that sounds, it is really the truth. Like, a lot of content creators, like Anamana, myself, and you, Blac, we spend so much time making videos and like, editing videos, so forth and so on, that we don't have that much free time to just play the game, right? Just kind of like, damn, that sucks.
And I don't know if it's the same for you, but like, if I spend, I don't know, even 2 to 5 hours a day, let's just say on average for me, depending on what I'm doing for content creation, it feels like I was playing the game for that whole entire time. Even though I'm not playing the game, I'm doing something related to it. Mm-hmm. So I still feel not burnt out, but just like, okay, I put my time in for PSO2 today, and that's it. Yeah,
I feel similar, but also kind of different. It's really weird, right? Because, so, for example, yesterday I was able to play like 2 to 3 hours of PSO2, but like content creation was off my mind. It was literally, I want to play the game, I want to have fun. That was the only thing that mattered during that like 2 to 3 hours. And it was so refreshing. Like, I wasn't doing anything groundbreaking or anything crazy. I was just doing my dailies. I was doing a couple urgent quests, and I was just, just doing like the campaign stuff for the Star Gems. And I don't know, I just had so much fun playing it, even though it wasn't anything new. But it felt like I haven't been able to actually play the game for so long. For me, when I'm in content creation mode, yes, I'm in the game, yes, I'm having fun, but it's a different type of fun. It's not like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like...
Oh, I know what you're saying, though.
Yeah, it's really difficult to explain, but it's just, there's two different mentalities when I go into PSO2. It's either I've got this video idea that I want to make, or it's I want to play this because I want to achieve XYZ in game. And because I go in with a different mindset, I achieve different things. And I mean, I have fun either way, but it's just a different perspective of fun, I guess, or a different style of fun. Yeah, it's hard.
I can relate like so much to that. Like, that's why I spend I try to set aside 1 or 2 days a week where I don't even think about content creation and I just play. And usually that's like Sunday, or just like maybe an hour or two at night with the Alliance or whatever, where I just get in and do whatever the heck I want to do, catch up on whatever I want to do, learn a few new things that I didn't know, catch up on divides, fix something, just do whatever, and just for a couple hours, and just, again, not think about content creation at all, and it's great.
Yeah, that's actually really nice. Are you able to just unplug like that and just be like, yep, I'm just gonna play, I'm not gonna think about content creation? Like, are you able to just do that on will?
No, I'm usually always thinking about something, even if I'm not doing something, but I can just say heck with it for now and just do what I want to do.
For me, it is so difficult. Whenever I'm playing a game, like, especially in PSO2, and then I realize something, or like I find like a question or something that's bugging me, like I want to find out, and then after I find out, I'm just like, dude, I bet you there's a bunch of people that are in the same boat like me that don't know how to do this, or don't know that you could do XYZ. And then it just becomes a video idea, because whenever I need to figure out something myself, I'm just like, all right, there's gotta be like at least one person out there that's in the same boat. Actually, recently, that's today's video of the time of this recording, is, you know how they're phasing away the gold mission pass, right? The mission pass gold tickets.
That's interesting how they're doing that.
Yeah, so what I did in yesterday's recording, which I need to edit later on today, but I bought 2 mission pass gold tickets, because I remember I made a video way back where I was able to exchange my ticket back into Star Gems. And I was just like, oh yeah, no problem. This is going to be fine. I'm just going to buy 2. I'm going to show everyone that, hey, it's fine. You can switch it back to your 200 Star Gems and everything will be good. And then I go to the swap shop and that feature is gone. It used to be in swap, I think it was like swap 2 or item swap 2 or something. And it's not there anymore. And I was like, wait a second. Well, what am I gonna do now? Because
sure
I wasted 200.
It wasn't in like one of the limited time ones?
Yes, that's what I found out later on, was that this was a limited thing because there was a bug with the mission pass during that period. It was like a 2-month period where the mission pass had some bug where if you bought the gold ticket, you weren't able to use it. And so they added that feature where you can exchange your gold ticket back into 200 Star Gems and buy another one in order to unlock it, because it was just some bug with that specific ticket. But I didn't realize that they took it away. I thought that was like a permanent thing in the game. But apparently they did take it away. I don't even know when they took it away. And so I'm sitting there with 2 gold pass tickets, and so obviously I can use one, right? So that was fine. But I have an additional one there, and I was just like, uh-oh, this is like 200 Star Gems. And as a free-to-play player, 200 Star Gems is still quite the big deal. I'm just like, crap. And so in the video, I was just like, well, I'm screwed. It was just so funny.
Well, at least, you could keep it now as just like a novelty and be like, hey, this is something we used to have.
Yeah.
And you'll be like the last person with a mission pass.
I don't know. In the JP servers, they said that you can exchange the mission pass into a 250% try boost, like an X try boost to 50%. But still, 200 Star Gems for one of those? I don't know, man. But I realized that through this mistake that, hey, I'm not the only one in this boat, because if you buy premium, you get the gold tickets for per month, right? So there's been some people that have bought 1 year's worth of premium. So you have 12 gold tickets. And, some people just refreshed their 1 year because we just hit the anniversary, right? So they're sitting there with like an additional 11 gold tickets, and they have nothing to, they can't do anything about them. And so for those people, I'm like, oh snap, I need to find out what we can do with these gold tickets to help them as well. If you bought premium, you spent the money and you got the gold ticket, but they're phasing out gold tickets now. Wouldn't it be a little bit unfair if they don't reimburse you in some way, or let you change them to star gems, or something along those lines? So I'm definitely going to be trying to find out, like, hey, what can we do with these? So I've sent in a ticket, and hopefully Sego reply, and then we'll have a solution hopefully soon.
I'm pretty sure that they must have thought about this already. They must have something in place they're going to put out, because I mean, as soon as you mentioned that, like, as soon as you just mentioned that a minute ago, I'm like, oh, yeah, what about the people with the year or who buy extra? Because I for some reason I bought an extra one at 1.2, so I might have an extra one laying around in my bank as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're going to have to do something, because there must be dozens or thousands of people, well, maybe not that many, but a lot of people who are going to be the same boat. So they're going to have to put something back in to let us exchange. And if not, then that's going to be kind of weird.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm just going to sit back, relax, just see like what they announce. I honestly think it's going to just be like a new mission pass, like, NGS mission pass or something, right? I have a feeling that it's just going to be the mission pass again, but like in a different form, or like they're going to update it or something along those lines. Maybe with like NGS fashion or something. That would be really nice.
Yeah. I've actually never really liked mission passes in games. It's not really that bad in PSO2 because you can get it for star gems, so I'm okay with it. But I'd be fine if they did away with it completely and just gave us cosmetics in some other way, just for like login rewards or something. I don't know.
Actually, speaking about that, did you notice when we were playing the closed beta of New Genesis that there was a notification saying that we get one free scratch every single day? Did you see that?
I thought that was like one a week.
I thought it was one a week. And then, like, when I was watching my VOD, it said one a day. And I was just like, wait a second. That's something I'm going to try to find out on the global one, because everything's going to be in English now, so we don't have to depend on translating and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking forward to that, because if we can get a scratch, like, even if it was a scratch once a week, that's still a big deal, because those are like AC scratches as well, So
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
That's just like one of the many things, like, I wasn't sure if it was just CBT related or if that's actually going to be like that going forward. I thought they were just going to give it, because they gave us a bunch of AC to mess around with, the scratch with on the CBT2, which was awesome. But so yeah, I thought that was just going to be like just strictly for CBT, and then once it launches, we might get like one free a week or one free a month, and that's it. But so I'm expecting that to change.
Oh,
but
yeah?
if we still get one, even if we get one a week or one a month, that would still be awesome. Like I always thought it would be a great marketing tool to like give everyone one free AC scratch for every new scratch that comes out. That'll get people's feet wet, and they might want to do more.
Yeah, we're just like drug dealers, got to give them their dopamine rush, and it's like, oh yeah, you're hooked now.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, so what are your plans going forward now on the channel, like your YouTube stuff?
I just want to do like fashion stuff from now on for the most part. Like I messaged you, I don't know, over a half a year ago, how I wanted to do like just showing different weapon camos that work on multiple different weapons, but the ones you can't preview.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to start doing like 2 or 3 a week now of doing that, going up to NGS, of just, again, weapon camos that work for multiple different weapon types that have different appearances for each weapon that you don't really get to see when you just go to preview them, which is really unfortunate. So I started with my favorite one, which is Reynold the Shapeless, which is for the sword, partisan, and the wand, and you get it from Zig for creators emblems from the story. Mm-hmm. And I just did that one because it was my favorite one, and I wanted to see how people like that kind of stuff, and people loved it. So I really want to do that going into up till NGS, really, because that's really only the thing that's going to carry over is mostly cosmetics. There's a few other things I might want to do on the channel as they come up. I might want to redo a few things, and I still want to cover PSO2 as NGS comes out. But for now, I think I mostly want to stick with fashion and stuff that is really going to translate for anything to help you in the future. Because I mostly just, I've always tried to cover stuff that will last for a while on my channel. I don't like putting out stuff that is, like, if I think something is going to be outdated in like a few weeks, I don't even want to cover it. It's probably a bad mentality for a content creator, to be honest, but it's just something I've always not really cared for doing. But with fashion, I think it's timeless, really.
Yeah, as we all know, fashion is actually the true end game, so it makes
is.
perfect sense, right?
Yeah, and I think I actually like fashion more than almost anything else in the game, to be honest. Like sometimes I'll log into the game and want, like, on those days off when I don't want to do any content creation and I'll want to just do whatever, I'll go to the salon and like 2 hours will go by and I'd be like, what just happened?
Yikes. But yeah, for sure. Like, I do agree. That is definitely something that I don't know if any other content creator is doing, just solely on fashion. But I feel like that could definitely fill or scratch the itch that a lot of people may have. Like, I watched a Silly's video recently where he talked about the J sword or the Nodachi, which you get like 40,000 kills or something, and then you get
My
a weapon
alliance is
camo.
actually farming Cradle right now for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
right? Like, that was something I didn't know about, right? Like, I heard people talking about, like, oh, you gotta kill X amount of mobs with this specific weapon to get another weapon or something. But I never knew, like, the details. And I was just like, oh, whatever, I really don't care. But then after he made that video showing off, like, the sword, how it looks, and, like, the story behind it before on, like, the old PSOs, or the Phantasy Star series, then I was just like, oh, that's actually pretty cool, There's history behind this weapon, which really upsells it. And I feel like, oh, that was a good piece of information, Good video.
Yeah, I saw that too. It was really, really good. And it's such a cool looking weapon. And I haven't bothered with getting it yet, but I probably will.
Yeah,
I
I
think
know a
it's
whole
like
bunch of people
20.
are working towards it now because of that video.
I think it's like 23,000 kills or something like that.
Was it only
could be
20? I thought it was 40 something thousand, but I mean, I might be wrong.
No. Okay, maybe it was. Maybe I had that like. Oh, I don't know why I'm thinking 23 then. It's a lot.
Yeah,
Either way, it's a lot.
It's a lot. That's all I remember. It's a lot of kills, and then the nice thing is it's a weapon camo. But the only thing that turned me off was it clearly looks like a katana, right? But it's not a katana camo. It's a sword camo only, and I was just like, what? That was pretty sad.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Like when I first saw it, I thought it was katana.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, right. I want to talk about something before we end the podcast, and that is so you were a guest on Arks Hour recently, the last Arks Hour, episode 7, I believe. How was it? How's your experience?
It was great. They do so much more behind the scenes than people would imagine. I was just along for the ride, and it was really great. It was so nice to meet JJ and G-Wiz and everything, and to talk to them a little bit behind the scenes and just get to know them. They're basically exactly the same people as you see on screen, and they're just gamers like any of us. And it was just really nice to be on there and just hang out.
It's something that a lot of people don't really appreciate is that JJ and G-Wiz and Sachurin, they are taking time out of their regular day job, right, to do this.
Yeah.
And that's something that blows my mind because, if you're a regular employee, a salary man, you just want to do, at least at my point, because I'm hella lazy, I just want to do the bare minimum, right? As long as I do the bare minimum, everyone's happy, we don't rock the boat, it's fine. But these individuals are going beyond. They're taking the initiative to actually make this entire Arks Hour show in their free time, which is very, very crazy. To me, that's mind-blowing. It's very impressive in the time and the dedication they have for PSO2.
Yeah, they each have their own responsibilities. They do a lot of different things behind the scenes, and then add on this onto it, and it's just like, wow, you guys do a lot. And I don't know if I don't necessarily know if they're like taking time out of their day or if like they're told to. But either way, they don't have a dedicated team for this kind of stuff. So they just took the people they had who were very competent and then made a team. And that's what you see now. And they've just done an amazing job. You can see from the first episode to what they have now, they've improved so much, and they're now like full blown content creators, And well, some of them already were before, but I think you know what I mean. but
Mm-hmm.
it's just really I've always liked seeing dev streams, and I
Yeah.
just like seeing. I always like the interaction and just getting to know the people who are behind the game. Really,
Mm-hmm. For sure. Like another thing that I've also been super happy about is the improvement on the global stream, like the new Genesis Prologue streams. Like you could tell a huge difference. Go back and watch Prologue 1,
oh my
2,
god,
and then 3. 3 is so good compared to 1 and 2. Like the improvement is night and day. I'm like, holy crap, 3 is so good now because, they voiced over it, they lowered the Japanese volume, they took all the feedback that everyone gave them and just like improved upon the stream. And I'm just like, wow, that's amazing.
yeah. I was surprised they didn't pre-record the first few ones, and I'm so glad they pre-recorded the last one because it came out phenomenal. It was great, and obviously all the new information was amazing too. But
Hmm.
everything you mentioned, yeah, is spot on. So like they're not only taking NGS feedback, and they're doing a great job with just NGS feedback in general and fixing the TBTs each one by one. But they're also taking the feedback from the broadcast, which is pretty funny but pretty awesome at the same time. And I'm really looking forward to the new ones after that because I going into this third one, like I was like, I don't really care. But once I heard it was pre-recorded, I was like, okay, this is gonna be better.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I feel like a lot of people were like, I don't care about the live stream. But the reason because of that, or at least what I think, is because everyone was so tired from trying to get registered to the Microsoft Store closed beta because that 2 hours of high stress and everyone's just like, oh, it's like 3 in the morning now. Oh my god, I can't stay up to watch the stream again. Everyone's just exhausted. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and since it was pre-recorded, like I didn't even I didn't get up early to watch it because so far they were all on Friday mornings at like 8 a.m. for me. So I got up early every single time
Mm-hmm.
to watch them. Because Friday is usually my day off, or at least on the mornings. And so I get up early and watch it with the other content creators or whatnot, which was a fun experience. But they were the streams were pretty sloppy, and it wasn't. I realized it wasn't worth me getting up to watch it when I could have just watched it later in the day. So when I knew it was pre-recorded, I was like, I'll just sleep in on a Thursday and watch it later when I get up. And it was
Mm-hmm.
nice to do that.
Yeah, that's actually what I do for most of the time. Like, even though it's on a good time for me, like the streams are like 8 p.m. my time. Sometimes I just don't bother watching it, or I just have it like playing audio only at the side, and I'm like doing something else. And then I realize that I don't absorb anything. I'm just like, oh, what was the live stream about? No, I don't know. So I have to rewatch it again anyway. So I always end up rewatching it later on as a VOD. And then
Yeah.
what I always like to do as well is I like to take screenshots because the way that I present my videos, right? Again, I'm in like content creation mode when I'm watching these
Hmm.
live streams. And it's just like, oh, wow, that's super duper cool. Screenshot. And then I make it into a video because I know that a lot of my viewers, and myself included, like we're visual learners, right? We need to see things in order to absorb the information.
I do the same thing too. I take a lot of screenshots just for like my own personal reference. It's a lot easier.
For
Like I
sure.
like how they have it spread out where like they'll talk about something for 5-10 minutes, then they'll show like a little like slide where it shows everything they just talked about and with like quick little not abbreviations but quick little summaries of everything below it, which is really nice again just for screenshotting and whatnot, just so you can
Yeah.
remember and key
The
back to it later.
the summary part is so good. It is so good. Like, I really wish when I was back at school like 20 years ago that our classes were like that. We learn something, boom boom boom, new information, and then like, the last 15 minutes before class ends, we get like a TLDR summary of a revision of everything we learned. Like, to me, that is like the ideal way to learn things because at the beginning you're getting bombarded with new information, right? Your brain's still processing everything, and then at the end you need something to just wrap everything up nicely.
I have done that a few times in my videos where I'd spend another minute at the end of the video and be like, okay, in conclusion, let's go back over everything really quickly. And people love that.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I haven't been doing that when I probably should be. And I'm probably going to do that more in the future.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you're doing fashion videos, right? So
Yeah, now I am.
right, so like what is there for conclusion? In conclusion, buy this.
Well, when NGS comes out, I'm going to go deep dive into every class.
Hell yeah, that's really good. What do you think the max level is going to be actually in NGS on release?
On release, maybe like 25, maybe if we're
Hmm.
lucky.
Yeah, like I don't think it's going to be very, very high. Like we currently in CBT we got 15, right? So I'm thinking like 20, 25, somewhere in between
It
there.
depends how many zones they give us or how much bigger of the map they want to give us.
Yeah. I'm honestly thinking that we are seriously going to be getting different planets because remember when they introduced like our character and like the two main protagonists? Like it
Hmm.
literally says in like the little text saying that oh you land on this island on this planet. They specify this planet, and so I'm just like okay why would they do that, right? So I'm kind of thinking there's probably more planets, right? I don't know.
Actually,
Yeah.
on one of the feedbacks they did, I think it was in the second prologue or something like that. They went over all the feedback, and I think they asked the JP players about whether they wanted more areas on the same planet or if they wanted to branch off into other planets. And it was something they were still considering.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing's off the table right now, it seems.
Dang, yeah. I would definitely love to see more planets, and that would be really cool. Well, I mean, to be fair, I'm fine with anything because I just
Same.
like, the game looks amazing, and it's fun as well, right? Since we've
Yeah.
had hands-on experience already. So, anything
Uh,
will be fine.
yeah, I don't really care if we go to different planets as long as we have different zones. Like we already saw there's a volcano, an ice zone, a desert zone
Hmm.
close to the forest zone. We couldn't get to them, but we saw them. So as long as like we get the different environments, that's all I really care about. It doesn't matter what physical planet I'm on for me at least.
Hmm.
But I mean, for a lot of diehard PSO fans, like or just Fantasy Star in general fans, like it's always been multiple different planets for the most part. I think there was a few games. I'm not versed in all the games personally, but I think there might have been a few where it was just one area. But mostly they've people like going to different planets.
Yep, for sure. All right, I think that's pretty much all the time we have for today. Um, Black, would you like to shout out or do anything? Anyway, I'm just gonna hand the floor to you. You could say whatever you want. It's yours.
Um, okay, so you can catch me over on YouTube over on BlacToBasics, Black without a K, and I'm gonna be getting back into streaming very soon over back on Twitch. Same name, everything, and I'm also over using Twitter now. I'm trying to learn Twitter, so same name over on Twitter, and expect more fashion stuff.
All right, perfect. So all of Black to Basics socials will be in the description below, so that you can just click it and make sure to follow, subscribe, blah 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 blah, all that jazz. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's episode of Arks Trash. Thank you, Black to Basics, for joining me.
Thank you for having me back on.
And that's it for today. Okay, bye. And that concludes the 14th episode of Arks Trash. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.
What can I say except you're welcome for the heat?